So, you guys have seen earlier what, the original developers of the 3D Frogger games went on to do after Konami decided to take matters into their own hands with Zapper. Now we're going to see what Konami did after the fact, starting with Frogger Beyond.
This is, I'm assuming to be, this was supposed to be like their Sonic Unleashed. They had to really make up for a lot of lost ground with Great Quest.
Oh, yeah, they really did, because they screwed up hard with that. But to be fair, around that exact same time, they also found success in... Oh, that's right, I forgot about the fucking Frogger rap.
It's the Frogger rap. Everybody remembers the Frogger rap. Please skip this.
I mean, in all fairness, it is a pretty decent rap.
This truly is like Sonic.
I guess you're right. So, you play this game. Did this come out on anything else besides GameCube?
GameCube, Xbox, PC. I want to say it was out on PS2 in Japan, but that's about it. So, Frogger Beyond takes place after the events of Temple of the Frog, if you can believe that. No, they didn't reference anything from Great Quest, thankfully, aside from the returning Lumpy.
Thank God.
Where's Lumpy? Whoa! I mean, it looks pretty. There he is.
Oh, that's right. Frogger got a voice change, and so did Lumpy. For the better.
Never thought I'd be so happy to see this place.
I hear you, little buddy. That was a long journey for you all the way to the Temple of the Frog.
Yep, it's definitely better.
So much better.
It looks nicer. They look like cartoon.
It looks a lot smoother.
And I love that thick Cajun going on with him.
Well, he seems nicer and stuff.
And then there's also Frogger, who, Seeley might got to get a kick out of this, but the actress playing Frogger here also voiced the likes of Kevin and Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Oh, Kathleen Barr,
Yep.
who also voiced Marie Kanker.
Almost is right. My birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear it.
Didn't she also go on to voice Frogger in like some of the other handheld games?
Maybe? I know she's definitely voiced him for, like, the other Frogger console appearances.
Okay, that might be what I'm thinking of, because I'm thinking stuff like the PSP.
Trying to look at what else she voiced.
She was
I know she voiced
Cody
Rudolph the
Butch.
Red-Nosed Reindeer at one point.
Yeah.
Huh?
She voiced Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the stop-motion movies.
Oh wow, she voiced what's her face in Barbie and the Nutcracker.
She played Cody Butch and you first?
Elizabeth Drosselmeyer.
Right. She played Cody Butch and Sam in Powerpuff Girls Z.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I guess before we go any further with that, we should probably get back to the juicy plot about Frogger
Yeah, what's
Beyond.
happening here?
So, Frogger is coming to a point in his froggy years that he's going to have to become a froggy man, and to become a man among frogs, he must undertake the challenge of the frogs, basically.
Challenge of the Frogs?
Something like that. Basically, there's this whole council of frogs he has to go see, and well, they're gonna make him undergo challenges in order to go become to grow out of this whole adolescent phase.
Hey, I heard that.
Oops.
Yeah.
You are still a little frog.
I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, apparently she played Trixie in My Little Pony as well. Okay, I guess that
Huh.
also makes some sense. So, and using.
So yeah, terribly sorry about talking through all that, but I mean, just basically now we're gonna head on over to the Temple of the Frog.
Hey, before I take you to the council
Or
chamber,
the Council Chamber, my bad. Temple of the Frog was the last
you need to
game.
know to make
What
it
can we
work.
do, Lumiere? Oh, I
Oh,
thought he
you
was
know
actually gonna
what?
talk more.
You know what? It's funny. Like, we talk about how much of a fine Cajun accent that is. That fine Cajun accent is actually Scott McNeil.
Really?
Really?
Wait, Scott McNeil.
I'm
Do I
Googling
remember
so that
him
I
from
can
anywhere
sound
else?
like... Go ahead.
Well, I'll let you know, like, I do know something I recognize him that he's Wolverine in X-Men Evolution. He voiced Piccolo for a few bit of Dragon Ball.
I see
Ah,
that.
oh, one of the earlier
Oh, and he's
ones.
also Dr. Wily in the Ruby Spear stuff.
and
Oh, that's Scott McNeil!
yeah. Oh, and Seeley, he played Koga in Inuyasha.
Oh wow.
But
I mean,
yeah,
Shit, small world.
yep.
But yeah, he would pretty much go on, he would take over for Lumpy for pretty much the rest of the series whenever he appears.
Well, that's nice of him, and yeah, I mean, I'm already liking this. At least looks more like a Frogger game. Thank goodness.
How did I not make this connection?
What?
Kathleen Bart. She
As
also
Frogger?
voiced Wheezy in Dragon Tales.
Oh, man,
Fancy
now
that.
I feel old.
Oh my
we
god,
all
we're
do.
so old.
Pretty much.
And so is this game, because I do believe in about 2 years from now, this game will turn 20.
Oh, jeez. So, so I will say this game, nice. This game completely went under the radar for me. Although already looking at that checkered flag and the continue thing, it looks like they basically wanted to make a 3D Game Boy Advance platformer, like take the Game Boy Advance structure and make it 3D.
Essentially, basically take the concept from the Game Boy Advance game and just transcend it to consoles. Hence, Frogger Beyond.
This brings back
Actually, if I could just rewind a bit, as Sealy mentioned Powerpuff Girls Z, Scott apparently was also the voice of Fuzzy Lumpkins in that.
That wasn't me. That was Logan.
That was me. But it makes sense. And also, I'm going to say right now, I'm so sorry. Looking at that sprite, there is still one thing I don't quite agree with these Frogger designs. The individual teeth.
Yeah.
It would
It's
have
still a work
worked
in
It doesn't
progress.
look right.
It would have worked better if it was a
Fine,
solid bar.
lumpy teeth.
It would have worked better as a solid bar. But and I think this is
Yeah.
also this was also the art style they used for that one Frogger Game Boy Advance game, like the last one that was made.
Not the last one, but I know which one you're talking about. Frogger's Adventure 2: The Lost Wand, which again, that's a game I'm tempted to do a actual.
What was that?
Playthrough.
What was that question mark?
Oh, that was just another little hint
Tutorial.
towards the game, just to tell you like what you can do. And here we are,
What?
the Elder's Council Chamber.
When did we go from a swamp to the Elder God realm?
Oh, that does not look right.
In we go.
In the Frog's Way.
And on to the freaking pentagram. we go.
Pentagram.
Yeah, that was the bad angle. Okay, the Council of the Frogs.
Young Frogger, on behalf of
I gotta say though, like, I gotta give credit for just how much grandioseness that they put into this whole scene here. For a Frogger game at that.
I mean, I think Frogger makes. I don't think Great Quest was on the wrong path. I think Frogger makes sense with having a lot of fun, whimsy, and like crazy stuff. Why does that Frogger have a gun?
Why does that one look like Why does that one look like he's getting ready for a D&D campaign?
potential, but you can be a little boy frog no longer. The greatest challenges in your young life will be set forth before you today.
Excuse me, I'm a frog? Why do I need a challenge?
any challenge.
A frog. Nothing is expected of a frog. We just swim.
The Firefly Swamp.
Except for Frogger, he can't swim.
Oh yeah, he's hydrophobic.
And please get off your hind legs. You look ridiculous.
Little frog body, daddy long legs.
Look at that. Also,
Well,
it reminds
I
me
mean-
of Great Quest, so stop it.
Well, it's kind of a shame because I'm pretty sure he does a lot of that they're standing up in pretty much every game after this.
Well, with every other game, they actually gave him more proper proportions.
Yeah.
Told that we never
Here, it was still like a case where, little frog body, long frog legs, sort of thing.
Whoa, jeez.
Oh! It's like, this is something that every little frog boy has to undergo once they reach that coming of age.
Governs these worlds, each member representing
Wow, these would make great settings for a video game.
Take this seriously, boy.
these immense creations.
I mean, that's essentially what's going on here. These are all the worlds we're going to get to go through during our
Wow.
trials.
Shows. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna run this joke into the ground. Shows footage of Great Quest. Not that one. We pretend that one never. I'm sorry. These are getting lazy. So, a lot of fun, little variety.
good to me.
I mean, honestly, it is crazy that you got this game that really does go the extra 9 yards, whereas you have fucking Great Quest and how jank that all looked.
Oh, which are funny.
So let's do this.
Because we're so confident.
Man, I want to get into it.
I mean, I guess it also helps too that this game was actually developed by the Hawaiian division of Konami.
Recently elected council member, and with me, you will travel through a marvelous rainforest. Much of the rainforest is bright and beautiful.
Okay.
Some of its inhabitants you will see show a much darker
So is
side.
this actually like? Is there actually like a grand villain we're fighting, or is this whole game just us going to each of these council elders and they take us to their world to complete?
For as far as I'm concerned, it's mostly the former, or not. Excuse me, not the former,
The
the
latter.
latter. It's just them having Frogger undergo these trials. I will say that I never beat the game to this point, but that's only because, contrary to this game's cute and colorful aesthetical nature, it can be a real ball buster at times.
Better or worse than he's back?
Not as bad, thankfully, but it can still trip you up at times for sure.
Go
Yeehaw!
Frogger! So, after an incredible, mystifying plot where we must please the frog gods,
And it literally took about 10 minutes worth of this video's length.
Remember
okay,
when
it took-
Frogger was just all about saving the baby frogs?
I would say, remember when Frogger just wanted to get to the other goddamn side of the road? That's all he cared
That
about.
too.
He was just like, you know what? I don't like being on this side. I want to go to that side. But anyway.
And then,
And then, oh.
Oh, the poor thing. But, yeah.
I can't make a. Oh, there we go.
So that was our hub world?
That was the hub for this world, yes. Basically, every hub has like 4 windows that take you to all the levels you go through in the game, even though you can only go through them at least one at a time.
Right.
So,
So,
now's here where the proper gameplay begins.
so gameplay. I noticed you have like a super hop that can make you go really up high or across a long gap.
Yeah, basically all the stuff that you could do in Temple of the Frog still applies here. You have a super hop, you can angle yourself with the shoulder buttons, and you do have you can stick out your tongue with the B button. And
is
yeah,
it
as
useful?
always, of course you want to be mindful of the enemies, but one thing that this game has is that you have 3 specific power-ups that can help you on your quests, like this one that lets you eat up any enemy that you come across with your tongue, assuming you're careful.
Okay, well they stay dead at least. So there's a shield that increases, that I guess gives you an extra hit.
The shield basically makes you invulnerable for a limited time, and the boots make you go faster.
Is there a way to replenish our? Yeah, we got it. Oh, huh. Is there a way to replenish our power-ups after we use them?
Yes. In the hub world, if you go to that little blue orb thingy at the bottom of it, it basically gives you like a list of things you can do, like save your game or access the game shop, where you can spend all these lovely coins that you collect to get more power-ups or extra lives if you really need them.
Okay. Aha.
Of course, if you want to get extra lives the more honest way, you can use your tongue. You can stick out your tongue and eat the occasional fly that you come across.
Right. Aha.
And yeah, you're gonna need about as many of those lives as you can find.
I do not doubt you there. I'm digging the music. Actually, one space too far. Yeah, I'm digging the music. Reminds me a little bit of like a similar instrumentation to like Tropical Freeze or like the first TAC game.
Oh, I can hear it.
Cool. Ha. No, I feel hard pressed to say this was made by Konami. Do we know like if they had a particular studio contracted to make this?
As far as I'm concerned, it was handled by the Hawaiian division of Konami, which is pretty much the people that they rely on for all the other Frogger projects. Why they do that?
He thought he heard Hawaii. He wanted to go for a swim. But no, I'm gonna be honest. I think that is literally the first time, at least on this quote unquote YouTube thing, I have ever heard of a Hawaii game studio. So props to them.
Indeed.
I mean, it's the same
Sorry,
studio.
Sorry, I was just about to say sorry for that absence. I had to put up some dishes.
No
Nah,
worries.
you're fine.
That's okay.
I still want to say that this is the same division that used to go by Konami Computer Entertainment of America or some sort of like that. The same people that also made freaking Temple of the Frog. They just changed the name to Hawaii to be a little more, exact.
Okay, well, I mean, better to have them working on the game if you want them to emulate it. Also, I don't know why, but after that last death, the way Frogger just turned to the camera like, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? Gosh."
What the hell was that?
How far roughly in this game did you get, James?
I got as far as about the first level or so of World 2, which is the water level.
Oh, jeez, we're not even done with this first level.
How long would you say the game is, just from what you've observed?
I think at most there's about maybe 6 worlds or so, each with about 3 levels and a boss fight.
Okay, so level-wise, it doesn't sound too long, but goodness, if this first area is already saying like this is already proven to be a beefer, like that back there, like when I saw that little like entrance thingy, that would have been the end of a Swampy's Revenge level, but we're moving right on along still.
Yeah, these levels can definitely last a good while if you're not careful, though. I guess one other thing that's worth mentioning is that this Frogger game, amongst all the rest of them, tried to be dynamic, like with this little slidey sequence that you don't really have any control over.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm actually grateful because I thought it was possible to slide off, in which case, screw that.
I will
would've
say,
sucked.
I appreciate the inclusion. I appreciate the inclusion. I feel like that should have went by like he should have been sliding down that thing a lot faster than he did.
I'll agree to that. And there's going to be time. I think there are times where never mind. I'm thinking of a future Frogger game where they actually do have certain slidey sections, but they do go by a bit quicker.
I'm just thinking of the slidey sections in I forgot what it was called, but I know Game Grumps called the game Frolf, Frog Golf.
Frolf.
Yeah, what was that game called actually? Hang on.
I guess it should also be more-
I remember now. Ribbit King.
Oh, right, that. I forgot that was a thing. Also, I guess I'll say one last thing before we move on to the second Rainforest level. Pay no mind to the fact that currently Frogger looks like a Muppet. A cuter Muppet, to be fair.
I don't mind his design here. I agree. I think, yes, he kind of looks like one oversaturated eye away from belonging on the cast of Hello Kitty, but I think he still looks like a fine, redesign.
He's a fine frog.
One
thing I actually will say against this game, though, is the fact that maybe it's just because I've had more experience with some of the later Frogger games, like Ancient Shadow. The enemy patterns are... Oh, by the way, hello, Big Spider.
Jeez.
Oh!
And it stinks to high!
Heaven.
But anyway, what was I about to say? One thing I will say against this game, I kind of wish that, because you know how many of the enemies in this game always follow a pattern? I know in later games they actually do have, a little trail that shows, the pathway that they'll be taking, but here, you have to guess that shit.
Dang.
And they can usually they move pretty fast, so...
Right, the spider notwithstanding.
The spider's fine, but it's just like these little guys, for example.
Jeez.
You kind of wish that there was a little trail to show, what would be considered the danger zone.
Right. There we go.
Which, again, they do follow up on, at the very least, they follow it up with in Ancient Shadow.
Which I guess I need to ask about that is I remember seeing the cover art of Ancient Shadow, never played it. Was that the last true Frogger-like game?
Sort of. It was the last one for consoles. I remember before Konami was like, screw it, we'll just do whatever. That should not have counted. But,
that shouldn't have.
But anyway, what was I about to say?
The last console game before Konami kind of gave up the ghost.
Kind of. It's not to say that they haven't given up on Frogger yet. Again, they've actually gone out of their way to make a new one for the Apple Arcade of all things. And by this point, they don't really care too much about the more mascot-like Frogger design that these had from the early to mid 2000s. They've more or less gone back to the more traditional frog-like design, which I'm sure makes Hype happy.
But yeah, looking
Well, I
at
just
here,
think it's
go ahead, Hype.
Well, I just just to comment on that rather snide remark. It's like I'm not against the idea of making him more anthropomorphized. I just think that there's a part of me that feels like considering we were in a period where we were kind of oversaturated with a lot of anthropomorphized mascots, trying to write off the coattails of stuff like Sonic and Retro and whatnot. I thought it was kind of neat to find a mascot that was a lot more truer to their roots than a lot of the other knockoffs that we were getting at the time.
Well, I have good news for you, Hype, because looking through this franchise here, the last real Frogger game that was on a console was first off back in 2012. Was the last time they made a console Frogger game, and it was called Frogger Hyper Arcade Edition, which I guess was kind of their version of Pac-Man Championship Edition.
I guess.
Sounds about right.
But with Frogger, and he just looked like a normal frog.
Which actually does remind me, up until they more or less, before, I guess, Konami's whole wine division kind of, as put earlier, gave up the ghost, I recall there was one other game that was made, just after the likes of Ancient Shadow and Helmet Chaos, where they try to go for this whole plot line where you're a kid who goes to this tournament with this mystical pet sort of thing, and the one he just so happens to have is literally like Frogger.
Oh god. Oh wait, was this freaking Frogger Returns?
No, it was it came, I think it came before that. It's called My Pet. I think it was called My Frogger Toy Trials or something like that.
Oh yeah, I see it
Toy
here.
trials.
Oh my god, jeez, I was making a joke about this Frogger looking like he belonged on Hello Kitty. That Frogger looks like he belongs on Hello Kitty.
Okay, now you gotta show us.
Hang on, I'll post an image of it. But this is the cover art, and James does not have to put it up if he does not want to. I'm not going to hold him to that. Oh my gosh, the spiky log. That is my Frogger Toy Trials.
Devil damn, that is really chibi.
You're right.
Yeah, that looks like a cat. So was that an actual Frogger game, like a legit Frogger game, or like a?
More or less. It was still made by the same people, and honestly, a lot of assets were reused from the original Frogger games, like the owl.
Oh,
You got paralyzed.
I got sniped, but anyway, it had they reused some of the sound effects. I remember that, and the art style for the game, at least with like the human characters, looks like it was more or less ripped straight from the the reboot Frogger series that we had during those mid 2000s. Which honestly makes me wonder, why didn't we just have another proper Frogger? I know it was also made to celebrate the character's like 15th or 20th anniversary. I forget which.
I could see that, but just in general, looking at this, like, Frogger is like freaking Monkey Ball, where it's like one of those games. Like I'm surprised with how many. I always think, wow, Frogger did not get too many games. I'm baffled by how many games it really did get.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why, after like a few years of really milking this whole reboot idea to the ground, like there was even a freaking edutainment sort of game for the PS2 involving this peripheral that Konami released.
Huh.
I mean, an interesting way to go about things, but otherwise, that was a thing. But other than that, yeah, after all of that, I recall that there was also a Frogger 2, a quote-unquote Frogger 2 for Xbox Live Arcade, which was its own thing. And then after that, there was like the occasional smaller thing like Frogger Returns, which is kind of an ugly piece of shit.
Right.
And then, well, all these other things, again, more or less keep to the roots of Frogger just being a literal frog. And that's pretty much all she wrote.
My guess is that it was like them trying to like backpedal after the whole mascot platformer thing kind of started dying down a little bit.
I guess so, which, I mean, is kind of a shame because, I mean, I understand that there are people out there that do appreciate the whole Frogger just being a plain old frog sort of thing. Frogger honestly never made much of an impression for me until he got anthropomorphized.
Well, because now he looked like he had
fair.
personality. Looked like he had a design that was not just, I am Frog, hello.
Right. I mean, granted, the whole Frogger He's Back series did leave some sort of impression, but I just think it all just went gung-ho with it once, the Great Quest and Temple of the Frog happened, and I mean, the rest is history.
And what the... Oh, okay, I thought this was a freaking gem like Crash Bandicoot.
Take me away, oh flower petal.
but the bounds round.
So I guess with all that said, Seely, what do you make of Frogger Beyond?
Not really sure. I like the music. I like the voice acting.
Are you hip with a frog that can literally grind on trees like Tarzan?
Yay, Tarzan.
Maybe.
Oh, whoa, jeez.
Well, I guess we can ask her, since, I think me and James said our opinions. I'm not quite sure if Logan said, but I think I have a good idea as to what he thinks of it. What would your thoughts be on the whole thing about, how Frogger, is portrayed regular frog versus anthropomorphized and whatnot?
Do you prefer how he was in, He's Back, where it was just a simple, just a frog, as opposed to with, the whole voice acting, a whole character and story and stuff?
I do prefer how he was in He's Back, but that's probably just nostalgia talking.
That's fair. And it should also be said, ladies and gentlemen, that this design of Frogger is, this is kind of... They were getting an idea down, but they wouldn't have a proper design for the anthropomorphized Frogger until the next game.
Which I guess we should ask. We've been doing a lot of look at. Is there one of those games we're actually going to do a full-on commentary for, or is it all just kind of or is I guess the issue is that since all the games are pretty much the exact same formula, just with different maps, we've been avoiding it.
I have been, like I've said before, I have contemplated doing a playthrough of the second Game Boy Advance game, which was Frogger's
The Ancient
Adventure
Wand.
2: The Lost Wand.
Right.
And the only reason I'm considering it is just because, well, it's simple enough to get an idea for, while also still having some sort of substance in terms of the overall plot.
Right, and the bosses that they have are some fun. Oh, what the? Oh, they have a shield.
No, I just want to eat them.
Okay. Get the key to unlock the...
I have to
that
imagine
enough?
that they don't. I have to imagine though that's not very, pleasant.
Your tongue is already on fire, and then you also have to eat a horned beetle. What was it? But yeah, I was gonna say Ancient Shadow looked pretty good. And then, careful.
Which is funny because we actually did cover that game for a look at Wii long ago.
I don't remember that. I must not have been there at the time.
You might have been, but it was like a long time ago. And I mean, maybe it's just because we did it when I kind of lost all of my, for lack of a better word, immediate knowledge of the game. So it kind of just came and went.
Immediately the negative, like, oh, when you lost that spark, we had to play Ancient Shadow. No, but no,
Better
but
Ancient Shadow than Shadow Legacy.
oh gosh, I still had memories with Shadow Legacy. I don't know, but
That's a Spyro game, right?
Yeah.
That's the one where
The
that was
last,
supposed to
the
be.
last Spyro game that used the classic design.
Yeah, it was supposed to be that is to Spyro what Command was for Star Fox, with its like
Essentially.
continuity. Red became a good guy for a little bit.
Huh.
Okay, are we at the boss now?
Yeah, we're after 3 levels. You do get to fight the game's boss, and I mean, so far I've only fought this one. But if this is something to be said about the rest of the game's bosses, they're at least creative. But man, are they fugly!
Let's see what we got. The king of the jungle is coins.
Up, coins. No, the king of the jungle is up these steps. Mind your jumps.
I was gonna say, wow, what if you fell right then? Jeez, okay, get the life.
I did have that happen to me on my first playthrough,
You're like, oh, I'm just gonna put this. I'm gonna put
or my
the
first
controller
attempt
down.
at this level.
What
It's-
the-
Oh, jeez.
It's a JPEG. No, that is.
A ping. No, that is
Oh,
JPEG of the real star.
of him.
DK. Donkey Kong.
Just
he
look at
looks-
this guy and his pecs.
And his
Literally
teeth.
about as pointy as Lord
Oh,
Cross
whoa,
from the
he's
original
fast.
PS1 days.
Okay. Oh, but
Oops.
he panicked. He was scared. But I see what we have to do, and this guy moves really fast.
He's very erratic.
There.
There you are.
Now just do that 5 more times.
5 more times.
Well, I mean, it looks like the barrels go by fast enough to where it won't be a big issue.
Yeah, basically what it is that he pretty much does it in like sets of 2s,
Aha.
and then the next phase activates.
And
Also,
I'm
pay no mind to his evil eyes there.
For red evil eyes.
careful. Come on. Throw more.
Come on, I can take your barrels.
What
Okay,
the-
maybe I can't take your barrels.
Oh, you shoulda. There you go.
Okay, so at least it's fast, quick reloading or whatever. So, the boss.
So I'm
still-
guessing.
Go
I'm
ahead.
guessing you do have to be like on the same, for lack of a better word, on the same pillar as he is to launch the barrels.
Yeah,
like, you
you-
can't just like.
You have to go to him.
Well, and also seems like you have to. It also seems like after the third throw, that's when he finally stands still long enough for you to get a hit in.
Just one more phase of. Okay, now we got rocks suddenly falling from the sky.
What the?
Or actually, no, they're coconuts.
Okay, thank God. I thought. Oh
No,
yeah,
no,
it was.
I-
Yeah, stepping on a coconut will. Oh no!
It's coconut.
Please tell me this. Please tell me this saves some progress between checkpoints.
Thankfully, it does. It does save after every phase.
Oh gosh, thank you.
That's good.
Cause I want to say I don't know how much longer I can take of this erratic monkey. Got him. No, one more hit.
Just be careful of the terrible tubes.
More. And
And release.
because I'm sorry, I feel like I've said this way too often, but wow, this is fast paced. Like really, like I could see this challenging somebody. And is that the last phase? Is he
It is.
gone? And oh,
Oh, I'm gonna
Now
do-
he must take a bath.
congratulations, Frogger! You have become one step to achieving your driver's license to become a man.
That's literally, yeah.
What? He literally traveled to the 9th dimension and fought the giant monkey man. What more do they want from him? To become
Travel to the 10th dimension and defeat the giant whatever the next boss is, man.
the little
No,
monkey.
travel to the 10th dimension and take out the evil twins.
Oh, jeez, yeah, we gotta do that. But, okay, so I think for what they're trying to do, which was effectively they were effectively learning from their mistakes, saw clearly that people were liking the Game Boy Advance game more than their PS2 game, and thought, okay, let's just do that on the PS2. I think they did a pretty solid job with that.
Yeah, they had a plan. They had a plan in motion, and they made the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it didn't go well for a little while until eventually people got sick of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the risky run when you really go full throttle with this one idea.
Mm-hmm.
I
I mean, hell, look what happened to poor Mario, like back in the early 2010s.
So throwing this out there, if not a remake, I would like if maybe one day somebody is able to kind of like, do to this what we saw, like, sorry, no, it's only because I just saw it pop up on my YouTube feed earlier, kind of do for this what Paperball did for Monkey Ball and stuff like that. Like, I'm hoping that they can like take this and like maybe try to make a new like return to form. I feel like you said, especially with how old it's been, I feel like now is a pretty solid like time to try and bring back some classics.
Oh, agreed. I mean, I'd love to see Frogger make a proper comeback like this. And I mean, if it means anything, you still can get the original Frogger game, like the arcade classic, on your Nintendo Switch via the arcade archives.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, on that note, that was Frogger Beyond, and I mean, assuming I still want to go through with it, to coincide with the release of Frogger Beyond, that's when they also released the Game Boy Advance counterpart, The Lost Wand.
Huh.
That's the one that I'm hopefully going to do as a playthrough. So, till next time, everybody.
See ya.
Bye bye.
on the way, I already found it.